The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hoop Ballers! Welcome back to another episode, another edition of Today in Sports Betting. I'm your host, Devin Ellington at DALE007 on Twitter. And this is a hoop-ball.com presentation. Hoop-ball.com at Hoopball Gaming on Twitter is where you'll find us. And then also at Hoopball Tweets, at Hoopball Fantasy, all of it, because the NBA and the fantasy basketball season is thick upon us. Got to get your content, got to get your analysis and data. And honestly, I don't know a better place to do it other than hoop-ball.com. Premium content just took off. It's soaring. The Discord chats, the Discord channels. Got the wager pass for a monthly fee less than what most Twitter cappers charge for one pick. We got 7 pros, the Godfather Aaron Brewski, the founder, and the Podfather Dan Besbris himself, on top of humbly myself, my mere self, and Vince, which we'll get to Vince in a sec. He's patiently waiting. By the way, happy birthday to Vince. I don't know his age, but he told me off air it's his birthday. That's his information to give out once we get him in here. And then we got Mark for the pitch, the soccer picks. Or I'm sorry, Troy Markowski. I blended his names. We got all sorts of professionals. DFS pass is wonderful. I've been hanging out in the DFS chats. It's helping my prop bets. So definitely check those guys out. Santino, Concone, Mike Patria. Shout out to those guys. I'm learning. Enough about our premium stuff. You'll find it when you want it. But I do got to talk about Manscaped real quick. I always like to talk about Manscaped at the top of the show, give a little brevity to the situation. Manscaped. Go over there, use promo code HoopBall20, HOOPBALL20. Weed Whacker just came out. I noticed my ear hairs are starting to come in my almost old age. My nose hairs are starting to connect to my mustache. The Weed Whacker takes care of that. Takes care of other sensitive spots also. No tugs, smooth. Couple that with the Lawnmower 3.0, you're going to have a real nice lawn, shrub, whatever you want to call it. It's going to take care of you, and then in return, maybe take care of the lady. Maybe. So make sure to use the product. Make sure to use the promo code. They got some other great stuff, moisture wicking underwear. They got some travel kits, shave kits, you name it. Manscaped.com, promo code HOOPBALL20. Like I said, I got Vince on the show today again. We're going to start rocking these Tuesday and Thursday things out. We're getting our 2021 agenda locked in, and it's exciting. We got some stuff to leap pad off of. Hanging out, jumping from lily pad to lily pad, getting you some great analysis. I'm excited. We got a great show. We got a decent NBA card to go over. Some college basketball that I really, really like. Might steal that segment of the show. I apologize. And without further ado, Mr. Vince Miracle at VM Center on Twitter. Vince, how you doing, boss? Happy birthday again.
Thanks, man. I'm doing good. It's it's just another day where I feel older, wiser, a little bit, a little extra stretch in my step today, so I don't pull a muscle somewhere because I'm getting old. I'm getting old, and I don't like
it. Well, as I joke, I'm like an old young guy. I age a little faster, like the opposite of Benjamin Button, I guess. And I'm sorry if my mic sounds a little weird. I realized I didn't have the big mic on. I was using my headphone mic right there. So if it's creating some weird buzz or anything to the listeners or for you, I apologize, but I hope I still sound crystal clear. Yes.
Than you did before.
Awesome. So I gotta ask, 35?
Damn, dude, that how old you think I am because of my pictures, bro? I'm still in my 20s, dude. I just age more than other people. Like you said, I just old faster. I got like a fast aging in my body. I don't know what it is, but I stay young. I run a lot. I play basketball a lot. I box. I ride Harleys and dirt bikes. I do whatever I can to feel young because my body every day reminds me that I am getting older. Plus my two kids, man. Two
Yeah.
kids in the young ages that they are, it's just it ages you. Trust me,
What?
and it ages you every day when you see them getting taller, older, and they're able to start having more in-depth conversations with you. It scares me a little bit.
Yeah. I can 100% attest to that. Not that the pictures or anything, but your maturation, your composure, your being itself. And then the children. Those are my two guesses, but we'll leave the number a mystery. And
28, not a
28.
mystery.
Wow,
28, not a
I'm older
mystery.
than you.
I ain't hiding. I ain't hiding. I don't care. I'll take any. I'll take any. I'll take any and all comers, younger, older. You guys want this work on a basketball court? I will give it to you. I would say my game as of right now, because I've been hooping like a lot as of the last like 5 years, even more so. And even when I used to work at the hoop ball office with Aaron, and him and I were hanging out every single day. I remember we used to play basketball like just without even a hoop there. We would just guard each other one on one there. From then to now, I think my game probably best resembles a Devin Booker, but
Mm.
without the consistency of the jumper. But everything else, like I have a jumper, it's just not as consistent. So I would say like Devin Booker, uh, who's another good player? Maybe even like a Josh Okogie, just kind of a little bit wild. I would say Michael Porter Jr., but it's nothing like that. It's more of like I love to pass, but I'm a really good knockdown shooter. Like
Sure.
when I have the ball, people think I'm shooting it, but I actually like passing more. So there you go. I'm
So
letting you guys.
you're not like Draymond the other night. Did you see him? Did you see that? Where he was like jumping up and down, like kangaroo jumping with the ball in his hand, like waving his hand, like trying to get his teammates to move. Like he was
No.
literally jumping in the air, knees to the chest, like dribbling. It was a little Mr. What's his Philip Seymour Hoffman from Along Came Polly. But
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that movie so long. Where he just throwing it off the backboard,
yeah, Rain Man.
raining it down, and
Yeah,
he's blanking.
Rain Dance. Old
That's
school.
a good movie. That's a good movie.
So not to have a pity party here, but I'm jealous that you're hooping. I've been in quarantine and everything, and it's man, I haven't played ball in a while. And last year I was playing twice a week, and since you're throwing player comps out for yourself, I'm a mild 5'11", 6 foot on a good day when my posture's where it needs to be, but
Okay.
I'm deceptively quick, and I love playing in nothing but the post. And I'm dirty, not dirty in a bad, but like I fight for position, I fight for rebounds. Every pickup game I'm in, I'm getting 3 offensive boards, and I'm putting it right back up. I'm going right up with it.
Are you
So,
a hustle player? Are you one of those
oh,
hustle
dude,
like
I'm a mixture of Brian Cardinal and Zebo
Wow. Okay.
with a little bit of a jump shot. Like
Okay.
15 feet's where I'm comfortable. I'll hit some threes if I need to because I'm quick. I'm quick. I get open.
I
But
would say if we can do a comp like these two players, kind of like how NBA Draft.net does it for their player rankings. I would say my best player comps for the two would be a mixture of because I think Devin Booker's too good of a comp for me, but that's just the first player that came into my mind because he plays that point guard position. So I'm gonna go absolute best case scenario in the best day possible. I'm Devin Booker, but I'm probably leaning more towards Carmelo Anthony because I love doing
mm,
my work in that mid post and I
mhm.
love being able to find guys off that mid post. But the ability to shoot is where I get people. But I'm actually more of a willing passer. That's why I keep leaning toward Devin Booker. I'm a scoring passer.
You know, I love that. We need to get on the court together. Not to mention, I'm left-handed. So people will
Killer.
see like me playing left-handed, but then it's like they forget. Like they forget that there's a lefty on the court. And so I get away with a lot more than I probably should because people just don't defend, and that's a thing. I love defending. I love defending. You saw the Last Dance documentary, yeah?
Obviously,
talking about
3 times.
Rodman talking about how the ball bounces. He's going this way, and then I'm going that way, and it's going to bounce that way, and I'm going to get. That's me. That's me. Like I love rebounding. I love boxing out. I love going. Like I will defend the biggest guy out there just to do it because I love it. I do.
Yeah, 5'8". I'm a little stockier dude, and I'd guard the tallest guy, or the biggest guy, buffest guy out there, just because I don't mind contact. A lot of people are scared of contact nowadays. I do not mind it. I do not mind it, not even a little bit. But I would say, you guys, I'm not promoting going to do that. Obviously, COVID is out there. It's a scary thing. I'm not saying it's not real. I play basketball with people that I know that what they're doing like on a daily basis.
Right.
So note that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I would love to sit here and talk about our games all day and talk about, how good we are on the court. But we should probably talk about some actual college athletes and professional basketball players and how we're going to gamble on them.
Yeah, for sure. I will say one more thing. I have challenged a hoop baller one-on-one. I'm not throwing any names out there. Just, he's out there. He's still covering the Kings. That's a helpful hint for you guys. He's a numbers guy for hoop ball, and he got that work, and I had him spinning on the court. Just throwing that out there. But, yes, let's go ahead and start talking about some bets.
Well, let's go ahead and roll into the NBA card first, since it's a little more limited. We can get into some, in-depth look-ins. And folks, listeners, hoop ballers alike, just so you know, we're recording this at about 5:22 Eastern time. So some of these games are probably going to be started by the time you get to it, but make sure to not the NBA, but more of the collegiate stuff, because they start about 6 o'clock Eastern. Just, take in mind that, the game's probably already started. It's a little few minutes in or whatever, but maybe use what we talk about in our analysis for maybe some live stuff or some stuff to actually look for within the game. So that way you can kind of see how our brains are picking one another and just kind of the philosophies that we're taking into this card. So first things first in the NBA sector. First game is 7:30 Eastern, Utah, Brooklyn. This has had some massive, massive line movement, and due to the KD news, obviously. Utah opened as a 3-point dog. It's moved all the way up to 4.5 in their favor. They're the 4.5-point favorite on the road. Over-under has dropped from 230 to 225.5. That's a lot of movement on both of these. And if this isn't a fish market, I don't know what is. I wouldn't be shocked if Brooklyn comes out and still just wins by 20 with how weird this NBA year's been. And, I like taking the team that loses a star and supporting them because, teams play down to their competition. They don't see KD out there, so they're going to sleep on Luwawu Cabarrot, or however you pronounce his name. They're going to sleep on, Joe Harris getting more time out there. They're going to, so stay away game for me. So much line movement, so much fishiness. So I don't know anything else to say about this.
I'm taking the Nets plus 4.5. If you're willing to, and I am, I'm buying that extra 5.5 because I don't think they're going to get beat. Like you said, I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game. The X factor in the Jazz is if they're able to knock down shots. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's had some nice games, but again, he struggled with shooting early on this season. Boyan has been struggling with shooting early on this season, and Mike Conley's been catching fire. And I get that, but Mike Conley's one game away from being on like a 5-game skid where he just can't knock down anything. Like it's just a thing that happens to Mike Conley almost every single season. He's consistent, but he also becomes inconsistent at some point during the season for a minimum of 3 to 5 games. And I don't know if that's going to be necessarily this game, but Kyrie Irving is going to make you work guarding him. If you thought he was fun to watch next to KD, watch what he's about to do tonight. This guy's about to be putting on a show. That's number one. Number two, Karis LeVert has already been amazing this year. You're going to give him more touches. I just think he's going to be an X factor in this game. And like you said, Joe Harris, someone that's going to be getting more shot attempts, more time on the court. He fits the bill there. I think, again, the Jazz's X factor is knocking down shots and the impact that Rudy Gobert makes. You already know what Donovan Mitchell's going to do. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to find stats there. He's going to make the impact for the team. So it comes down to Rudy Gobert, and if the other guys can make some shots. I like the points. 5.5 if you're willing to buy that extra point, plus 4.5. It's a little bit closer for me. I don't know if that will necessarily pass through, but plus 5.5, I feel a little bit more confident. However, I do think that Utah wins this game. So obviously, for those that do like those money line bets, money line minus 180, I like that there. The over under, man, I still think under 225 is a good one. I mean, Brooklyn's defense hasn't necessarily been there, so I think you're going to see a lot of shots taken, just not a lot of shots going down. And Utah's defense is really good, so obviously the shots that Brooklyn have been making, it's going to be a lot tougher to get those shots. I think you're just going to see a back-and-forth, slow, grinded game and a lot of dribbling from Kyrie Irving.
It's definitely a pace-down game, Utah being the way they are the last, few years, obviously under Quinn Snyder. They just play that style, that slower pace, and then couple that with their inefficiencies, and then Brooklyn trying to figure out their rotations without KD. Yeah, I think you're on to something there with the total. Next game, let's see. I'm trying to go in order time-wise. Yep. All right, so Lakers, Grizz, down in Memphis. 218's the total. It hasn't moved. 9.5 was the opening number for the Lakers. It's gone up a hook to the minus 10. So I went ahead and just took the under 218. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. I put in, a play on the under 218. Sure, I get it. They just had a game where their inefficiencies helped the undergo, and now people are thinking that, it's going to go over and they're going to be more efficient, what have you. But one, there's more injuries for these teams from versus last week's game. And two, I think we have a potential of a blowout. Because the game last time was closer than what it really should have been. And so I think the Lakers end up winning this one by about 15, 17. But I think it's going to get ugly in the middle parts of the game. And I don't think Memphis is going to be able to put the ball in the bucket very often or very easily. And just to look here, I'm looking at some team totals. So it's looking like I'm seeing 113.5 for the Lakers team total, 104.5. So right at the 218 mark. Usually I like to use those team totals as maybe a gauge. I honestly don't see Memphis scoring 100 points. I think they struggle. I think they're going to end up around 88, 94, something like that. But 100, that's asking a lot. Now, even more so with depth pieces being gone, they're getting Melton back. So that's going to be a little bit weird. He's not a star, but, like Dan talks about, like we've talked about in the, chats in the Discord channels, which, by the way, we'll get into that some more. Gosh, I'm having so much fun in there, Vince.
Yeah, Discord's well
golly.
worth the wait in itself.
Oh, it's so good. So yeah, that's where I'm standing. I kind of like the 218 and the under on that, based off of just Memphis's health, trying to get another guy in the rotations who hasn't played all year.
It's that over under scares me because the Lakers haven't really had that big game yet, really, except for maybe one time this season with Anthony Davis. Like I said, I don't see Memphis getting really past 95 points. I think 95 is their cap. I don't see them getting to 100, but I can see the Lakers getting to like 120.
Yeah.
And because that right there, I believe puts them over. So you see a 125-95 score, you're pushing it.
That's 220, right? Right off the top.
Yeah, that's 220 right off the top of my head. So again, is it close? It's going to be close. It's definitely going to be one of those ones where you're a little nervous. Under is probably the better bet in terms of what you're choosing there. And if you're getting them both as a coin flip, I like that. But yeah, I guess lean toward the under. I'm just staying away from it because I can see the Lakers just taking off in that one, But real quick before I continue on this Lakers game, there is a prop bet for that Utah Jazz Nets game that I wanted to hit on real quick. 40.5 for points, rebounds, and assists for Kyrie Irving. I'm taking the under on that. I don't see him grabbing enough rebounds to get him to that 40.5, and I don't see him dishing out the ball enough. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring involved. I think you're going to see maybe a 26 to 28 point game from Kyrie Irving, and maybe only getting like 5 assists in this one. It's going to be a lot of swing passes, so it's going to be close. I think he's going to get you right around 32 to 35, but that's still below 40. And I think at 40.5, you can take the under on points, rebounds, and assists as a prop bet in that Utah Jazz Brooklyn game. But yeah, for this Lakers game, I wasn't a huge fan of it. That's the biggest reason why I'm going back to the other one. Under 218.5, I guess I'm feeling it, but I'll be honest, this game was a wash for me. There's nothing that I really like in this game at all.
Well, just to highlight something that we both agreed on, Memphis's team total is 104.5. We don't think they're going to get to 100. So maybe a little sprinkle in that, or a lean on that team total under for the Grizz.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I guess the under would be the better, but the Lakers just haven't had that game yet from Anthony Davis where he showed his dominance. And this could be a game where they start feeding it, or it can go the exact opposite and it's blowout early. You don't really see, it's a 110 to 90. Just easy 20-point win. So again, I'll lean to the under with you. I'm not against on that. Like if I had to choose, gun to my head, I'm choosing the under. But there's no prop bets I like. There's nothing that I really like in this game. If you're a DFS player, I like Montrezl Harrell a lot. I also like Brandon Clark, I think is his name. What's his name in there?
The power forward.
Yeah. I like him a lot in this game. In terms of DFS plays, but that's basically where I'm at.
Fair enough. Well, let's just for what it's worth, listeners, this game obviously it didn't make it into my wager pass plays, so that says something. But to give you some sort of observation, there we are. This next game, the next 3 games we talk about, they're going to be pretty good matchups, I think. Minnesota, Denver. Minnesota, 10.5 point dogs on the road. It was 12, so some movement on that.
I have it back up to 11 on my screen.
Back to 11? Okay. Let me check some other books to get all of them up. Oh, yeah, there it is. Just got to hit the refresh button. There we go. All right, so back up to 11. Over under 226.5. It came down from the 228. 226.5 is around there. And so I'm starting to get nervous now because everything I'm looking at, I put the under in. So I took under 227 just because Minnesota, they're going to be out without Josh Okogie, depth player. Not vitally important, but when teams that already don't have a lot of depth take hits, with depth, it's huge. And then Denver, they're not playing defense right now. They're allowing a crap ton of points and scoring a crap ton of points. Both of these defenses are terrible. So I think it's actually a good buy low situation here for the under. You can get under 226.5 right now for minus 105. So a little bit better odds. But the inefficiencies of Minnesota is what's fueling this pick for me. They're not really smooth or smooth operators as far as execution on the offensive side. And Denver, again, I think this could obviously be a coin flip with anything, but with Denver, I think they could either blow them out or they could win by a couple of points because Denver's just been so up and down as far as what they do and who they play against. I mean, both teams are 2-4. Not saying Minnesota's as good as Denver, because obviously not. But, if you're looking at a player to maybe get some action on in this game for some DFS sake or in, some prop betting scenarios, I love Malik Beasley. I love his game. he rebounds, he assists, he plays defense, he scores, he's efficient. He's probably the best part of this Minnesota team outside of Cat when healthy. He just helps that team go. D'Angelo Russell can't score the ball right now. I think he had like 14, 15 points the other night on like 20 shots, I think it was. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. This is going to be a game that I target more on the DFS side than I am the gambling, but I do like the under 227.
Yeah, I like the under. I mean, I don't see Minnesota scoring too many points. However, I'm disagreeing with you on D'Angelo Russell. I'm a D'Angelo Russell fan. He was 7 for 15 in that game for 18 points. He had 4 3-pointers. I mean, the guy is a walking bucket. I think he's still heating up. I think he's still trying to figure out how to play without Towns. I mean, it's a lot harder to be the focal point of defenses and pass it to guys, and your best off the ball scorer is Malik Beasley, and he's still standing in that corner over there, and it's hard to make that cross pass. So again, I like D'Angelo Russell. I like the over 20 points today. I think he's going to just try and get over that 20 points. He's going to try and go on a scoring rampage. Jamal Murray's letting it happen. Like you said, the defense for Denver is just not the same. And it's unfortunate because I'm getting kind of worried for this team, and maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe it's just the early season woes. Jokic has been amazing, but there's something about this Denver team that just causes concern a little bit. But if I had to go on the spread, I'm still leaning -11 to Denver. I think Denver at home, altitude's in their favor. Jamal Murray's finally becoming Jamal Murray all over again since sitting out from those injuries and everything like that. Jokic is still being Jokic. I also, speaking of Jokic, over-unders on 24.5 points, taking the under. I think this is going to be a Jamal Murray versus D'Angelo Russell type of game. I like the under there. Another thing I like is the over-under 8 points for Ricky Rubio. For me, this is all about DFS and prop bets for this game, just if you can't tell. I'm not a huge fan of the spread. If I had to lean one way, it's Denver -11. I like that, and I like the under on 226. But the prop bets are fun, man. I think this is still going to be a game where shots are going to be had. No one's really going to be playing defense until the second half. And I think D'Angelo Russell over 20 points is solid. Over 8 points for Ricky Rubio is solid. And I feel confident in those.
Yeah. Another thing with Denver that might help their defensive presence is JaMychal Green. He's coming back in. $3,900 on FanDuel. He's in a lot of my lineups because, with FanDuel, you get 3 points per defensive stat. And, he's capable. He hits threes. He's got exposure to multiple 3-point categories for FanDuel's sake. And
if Michael Porter is out, he's a must play.
Right. Exactly. And then, once they get Michael Porter Jr. back, JaMychal Green, he's back to being healthy. He's an important part. And then, they got that backup point guard in Monty Morris out of Iowa State that I really like too. That provides some good depth. So next game, 10 o'clock Eastern, Spurs, Clippers. Looks like it's right now at 9.5 is a home favorite for the Clippers. 228 is the total. Okay, something really weird happened with this. I don't know if I got a glitch in the matrix or an opportune number or what happened, but I was laying in bed at about 1 a.m. and I was going through my numbers like I typically do when they come out so I can try to get the best value or just get a starting point of where I think the market's going to finish. I got over 220. How did I do that?
At 228.
How did I do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Is Aldridge playing? Maybe that's the reason why they think more points is going to be there.
That's a good point. I don't think he is. I think
No, he's out. He's out with knee. Or no, he's still listed as questionable. So he actually could play. Regardless, the 9.5 points, I'm taking all that. San Antonio has secretly been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't been winning per se, but they have looked really good. Lonnie Walker, man, that's going to be an off the bench knockout player for a long time. Like he is so fast. That jumper is starting to go down. I really like that pick. And then also, what's his name? Kenon Johnson.
Keldon
Johnson. I don't know his first
name. Johnson.
Keldon Johnson. This kid is a freaking stud. I'm coming out and saying it right now. This kid is a freaking stud, offensively and defensively. Look. This is his numbers right now. On the year, he's averaging 16 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and almost 1 block per game, while shooting 49% from the field and 85% from the free throw line. That's a crazy jump from last season. And for some reason, he's still not at least 80% owned in fantasy basketball leagues. At least according to Yahoo, he's only 71% rostered in leagues. If he is sitting on your wire, my God, go pick this kid up. He is so good. He is so good.
Yeah.
The Spurs got another one.
Yeah, they did. And the Spurs games that they've played, they've played almost stiff competition every night. I mean, their first game was the Thunder. They played the Rockets twice. They played the Grizz before John Morant's injury. They played Toronto. They played New Orleans. They played the Lakers twice. They're playing the Clippers. They played Utah Sunday. Like you said, they're not really winning, but I mean, they're covering. They're covering a lot of these games against some really, really tough teams. I like your spot on it. There's a projection through the Action Network. Again, not an affiliate, but a great tool that I use a lot. I do. So the projection, it's got it a lot closer. I think it's like 2 or 3 points closer. So it's like a B plus projection. And I like that. Again, I don't know what happened with the 220 number. I got lucky. I'm kind of worried now. Maybe it still goes under 220 somehow. But like you said, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, some real fun youth to watch. And then not to mention Derek White fractured that toe again, the same toe, and he's back out. So DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson, expect some usage out of them. DeMar DeRozan, his shot numbers, like the shot percentages and his usage percentage, when LaMarcus Aldridge is out, just booms through the roof. And so look for maybe an opportunity to find a decent, DeMar DeRozan number as far as his props. So
how about this? How about the fact that DeRozan in a contract year has decided to become a 3-point shooter? And already 2 games this year, he's had at least 3 3-pointers. In 2 games this year, he's had 3 3-pointers. He's averaging 1.2 3-pointers per game. Last year he averaged 0.1. Like, he never takes threes. And this guy's out here shooting because he knows it's a contract year. The guy's averaged 21, 6, and 7. He's putting up big numbers. I have this game as only 5-point difference. I can see this game being close, maybe like 110 to 105. 9.5 points is a gimme. I'm taking the Spurs, and I'm calling that a lock. You guys can have my wager pick on this one. I don't care. I submitted a wager pick in my wager pass pick. That's going to be the one I give to you guys on my birthday. So here's my gift to you on my birthday, plus 9.5 for the Spurs. I love that one. And then just because I don't ever see these two doing this all the time, and that's Paul George and Kawhi consistently going off in the same exact game, I'm taking the under on both of those. Under 27.5 points for Kawhi and under 24.5 points for Paul George. I'm not saying they're both going to hit, but I do think one of them is going to hit. You do get better value if Kawhi's under hits.
Do it yourself doesn't have to mean all by yourself. Help is as close as homedepot.com/workshops, now with free DIY live stream workshops, live hands-on courses from real expert associates. Learn how to install floor tile, create a tile backsplash, replace a thermostat, and more. All from the best seat in the house, yours. To register, go to homedepot.com/workshops. Only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Rather than you do on Paul George, but not by much. So I would take the under on both of those. And Lonnie Walker over-under on 10 points. It is favorited already, but I still like it. Over 10 points for Lonnie Walker. The guy is a walking bucket when he comes off that bench.
10 points. Holy snap. I'm grabbing that one right now. 10?
Yeah,
it's not possible.
Lonnie Walker, man, he's something. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. He's been in a shooting slump. I mean, let me see. Over this past week, he's only shot 37% from the field. 37.5. Yeah, but at the same time, you look at that, he's got at least 10.5 shots a game.
Wow.
So he's getting the opportunity. The shots just need to go down. His big thing, though, and this is the thing that I think he needs to improve on, is stop settling for a mid-range pop or stop settling for the contested three. Go get some contact and get to the foul line.
Get to the bucket. He's quick enough.
Yeah, he's only got to the line a total of 8 times on the entire year. So
yeah, I watched this kid play in Miami. I think he played 2 years at the U. Man, like I said, he was a high recruit coming out of high school, and I don't think he could have went to a better system, honestly, for his professional career.
He would have went higher too if it wasn't for his injury.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Over for sure.
You talked me into it, and just so the listeners know, I was able to get over 10 at even money. So
you can get that at even money. That's a solid bet. That is a solid bet.
I put a unit and a half on it. So
I like that.
All right. Well, you took a dog on that one, a big dog. I'm gonna take a big dog on this last game. Chicago, Portland, and the Podfather Dan Vespers was on it as well. And right now, are you? Oh, buddy.
Chicago Bulls are nice.
Yeah.
Wendell Carter Jr. is finally starting to come into his own. I'm sorry to take that from you. I'm on it with you. I just want to let you know.
No, you're good.
But you just got me excited that you heard that Danny B is on it. You know what I mean? I bet you AB is on it. Yeah, we're killing the game. Let's go.
Yeah. I got the 10. It's at 9.5 now, probably 9 in some spots. 232 is the total. It's come down 1.5 from the 233.5 opener from last night. Portland doesn't play defense. They've allowed 115 points in all their games, if I'm not mistaken. I would like to be fact-checked on that. And, it's a good spot for the Bulls. They score buckets. They got guys like Levine. Kobe White's coming into his own. He sets Levine up a lot, very, very well. Not to mention, they got some savvy veterans, and Otto Porter, who's finally healthy. They got, oh boy, Thaddeus Young.
Yep.
And then there's Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple's on this Chicago team also, if I'm not mistaken. So there's veterans there. Like you said, Wendell Carter, obviously, Markkanen being out's going to hurt. But I think it's actually better for them because you get a guy like Daniel Gafford in there who actually plays defense, and he draws contact and he plays close to the rim. So he's able to allow Zach LaVine and Kobe White, and then your bench guys like Denzel Valentine, to go ahead and operate under more space, draw more contact, and block more shots. I love Daniel Gafford. And then not to mention the rookie Patrick Williams. Man, that kid can ball on both sides. I love that kid. And right now I'm seeing a team total of 111.5 for Chicago. I'm not saying I'm playing it, but if you want to put a half unit on it, guys and gals, I wouldn't be mad at you. Like I said, Portland allows a crap ton of points. They don't really play defense. And then with how hot and, just completely unconscious CJ McCollum has been, I think that's got to come back a little bit or a lot. I mean, he can't sustain those kinds of numbers. Dame can't do it all. And, I talked about this in my write-up on the Wager Pass. This pick did make it into the Wager Pass. I pretty much summed the Portland offense up as ISO, dribble, 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 pass, shoot. That's like all it is. And sometimes not even a pass. It's so stagnant.
It's Rodney Hood for me. Or not right. It's Robert Covington for me.
Don't do the Covington thing.
Covington I can't promote it anymore because he has had so many opportunities, but Portland doesn't want to give him the basketball. Like, they only set him up for open threes. The guy is slashing to the basket wide open. And you know what they do? They pull it out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, are you kidding me? Sir Robert Covington, free him, please. Free him. Free him.
You know where he would be sick?
Sacramento. Because he would get all in the world.
think Phoenix would be nuts.
You know who else he'd be amazing at if he was able in some way possible to and Kristaps was okay fully playing the 5 to Dallas. He would be
Dang.
he would be amazing. He'd be amazing on any team that literally moves
Not
the ball.
Portland. Yeah.
Any team where he is capable of moving the ball, his defense is so good. He's still averaging almost 2 steals and almost 2 blocks per game at the small forward, power forward position. There, obviously, that's why they brought him there. He's a defensive specialist. He's a 3-and-D player. I get it. I shouldn't be so high on the scoring aspect of it. But do you know that this guy he is a 15-point per game walking bucket. He can do a lot more than people are getting like led to believe right now. And it bothers me that people who are the casuals who don't really know Robert Covington, they just know him as a trade piece or a player that, you know, that it hasn't been fully realized yet. When he is on, and he should be on a lot more than he is now, but when he is touching that basketball, he is a very capable player. And you know what? It's my birthday. He's hitting that over. I'm just saying that right now. 9.5 points for plus money in a game where it's gonna be small guys. It's gonna be Thad Young versus Robert Covington, or it's gonna be Patrick Williams or Otto Porter versus Robert Covington. Give that man the ball, and by the way, I think Porter is gonna be the guy that's gonna be tasked with trying to guard Damian Lillard a lot. And you brought up Garrett Temple. I think Garrett Temple is going to be the guy that they have on CJ McCollum to try and slow him down. Like you said, the rook, Patrick Williams, has been really good. But Robert Covington, over 9.5 for plus money on my birthday. That is happening.
You're doing it again. I'm just going to name this hill, you know, Vince Covington Hill. Like, it's yours. It's yours, man. It's yours.
It's my birthday. It's a new year. That's the last time. And I'm not saying that this is the last time to say one more time it's the last time. This is the last time I'm doing this. Because if he doesn't hit today, I'm going to be fully on the trade Robert Covington train. Also, another big one that I want to be on, and it's because I hope he gets out of his funk, is over 13.5 for Yusuf Nurkic. That's more money, positive. He needs to get out of this slump. That buy low window is available for all my fantasy players. That's there. And for all my DFS players out there, put Thaddeus Young in your lineups. There's no Lauri Markkanen. I know he kind of hurts you a little bit, but the man gets steals. I can see him getting 2 steals and a block today. That's automatic 9 points, and he hasn't even grabbed you a single rebound or put down a single shot yet. The guy only needs to give you a 20 to make value. Put him in your lineups.
He's in a lot of mine. You know, I wish I had a soundboard with like sound bites in front of me because, you know, for here and moving forward, anytime you talk about taking the over on Robert Covington points, I would love to just play One More Time by Daft Punk, you know, like just like that little. All right. Anyways, yeah. So the Bulls and Robert Covington over on his points.
Plus 9.5. Take that with a smile on my face. And don't be surprised, guys. It could be one of those games where Portland takes off and you're feeling disappointed. Don't rule them out yet, because Portland also loves to give up leads.
Double down.
They don't like to hold on.
If it gets up to like 15 live, I'm doubling back down. Yeah,
if you could get 15 points with the Bulls, Zach LaVine just gets hot in a hurry. Kobe White gets hot in a hurry. I mean, they just have so many players that don't get talked about enough that can get you a bucket. Obviously, it all falls back on the shoulders of Zach LaVine scoring buckets. But here's the thing, and this is why I don't rule the Bulls out, and we've already said it multiple times. Portland's defense needs to show up from the G League or needs to show up from college or wherever their defense has been practiced at or they're trying to resemble it to be. It ain't NBA level defense. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. It's horrible. Their best defender is Robert Covington and Derrick Jones Jr., and they're not on the court all the time. And so you know what that means? That means more buckets for the Bulls. And I really hope Yusuf Nurkic and Robert Covington make me money, because I just bet on them right now while we were talking.
Well, you know, Covington, Nurkic, they're both good values on DFS. As you mentioned, good value on their props. Gonna pivot, that was the last NBA game. Gonna pivot over to the collegiate sector just to go ahead and get some of these 6 o'clock games talked about, to help the listeners maybe get some live opportunity spots or get it right at, the tip. Before I do though, I'm going to talk about mybookie.ag, the show's sponsor. Phenomenal mobile online betting platform. They've been doing it for quite some time. Use promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL, and you're going to get that up to $1,000 100% match on your initial deposit. You're going to get wonderful customer service. You're going to have diverse betting games, fields, whatever you want to call it. You can gamble on esports, you can gamble on people playing Madden, you can gamble on the red carpet stuff, on presidential stuff, the slot machines, blackjack. I could go on and on and on. I've told you how it's a family affair for me. I got my Gmail one, and she plays slots every day on it. So look into them. Use promo code HoopBall. Let them know that we sent you. mybookie.ag. Bet, win, get paid. I'm just going to be real brisk and brief here with the first two. They are at 6 o'clock. They're going to be just 1 unit plays for me, but I really, really, really like Longwood up against Upstate South Carolina University. It opened at +2.5. I went ahead and took my +1, and now it's moved to Longwood -1.5. I've watched this Longwood team a couple of times this year. I don't know why, but I did. And they actually play pretty good defense. And then there's Northern Illinois going up against Ohio. Northern Illinois getting 14.5 points. It opened at 17. I went ahead in the middle somewhere. I got my 15.5. Really like that spot. They're 1-7. Good buy low situation here for them. Ohio does have a phenomenal scorer, and Jason Presley, I want to say that's his name. I could be wrong. Kid is phenomenal. Great story. If you have a chance, look him up. There's been a couple interviews with him that I really like. Kid was on JV his senior year in high school and then had 0 offers, and then he went and walked on at Ohio, and now he's close to being their, if not already, their all-time leading scorer. Just a really great story. Had some real I don't know how to say that word, turmoil in his life. So yeah, again, side note, sorry, tangent. And then now this one, though, I'll stop a little and catch my breath to talk a little more about it. It's another 6 o'clock tip, but here is a game that I like, and I want to say that I actually put it in my wager. Yeah, I did. It's in my wager pass picks. Starting with the over of 126. And I've got this 5-point rule that I've talked about on the podcast and in the Discord chats. Whenever I see a total drop or rise 5 points, I go the opposite way. And it's technically a blind bet. I don't really do any digging into it. I don't understand, if the team's going to be favorable, for the over or the under. I just simply look at the line that I see move drastically, and I just take it the other way. It's successful. And so this line opened at 136.5. Like I said, I took the over at 126. So it dropped 9.5 points? And wow, it's down to 125.5 after I hit the refresh button. Holy crap. So yeah, fishy if you want to call it that, but Vegas obviously thought that these two teams were going to get at 136.5 when they initially put their numbers out. Over 126 for me. I put 2.75 units on it to win 2.5. Wager pass play right there. And then Dayton minus 10.5. I went ahead and jumped on it early. Fordham's terrible. They didn't return any production from last year. They play 0 defense. They can't score. Dayton, I think, is kind of going under the wayside just because they lost Obi Toppin. But they got a lot of the same guys from last year, same coach. They play defense, and they can score. So that's how I'm feeling about that one. And then, again, I'm going to slow it down, and I'm actually going to kick this one over to you, see if you have some thoughts on it. Texas coming off that huge win against Kansas, largest margin of victory against the Jayhawks in program history. They're hosting as the number 4 team. They moved up into the top 5 after that win. They're 8-1. They're hosting Iowa State, and they're giving them 12.5 points. It was at 14 I went ahead and took 13.5. And I think, just being a Big 12 guy, and I've been wrong in the past, but I think Texas here kind of looks past, holds their nose up to Iowa State, thinking that they're just going to get a cupcake win. I think Iowa State keeps it within 10 points, under 10 maybe, under double digits, just because the high, the adrenaline, they're at home, they're comfortable, they're the number 4 team. I think that they're gonna let Iowa State hang around a little too much. So 13.5 is something I like in this game.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at the Texas game. The one that I had on my list was Florida, Alabama. They're just expecting it to be too high scoring. 153.5 is just too much for me. I even though Florida has been horrendous defensively, I don't see this score getting up that high. The 153.5 is a lot of points from these guys. I take the under on that one. That's the only one that I've actually made on the college betting side. If you're asking me just to give you thoughts on that game, I mean, I'm going to roll with you. I think Iowa State is going to be overlooked as well. They can get the ball in the hole. I think defensively they're still united, even though they're not strong. I would take Iowa plus the points on that one as well. I kind of want to take the over or the under on the 139.5 as well. I don't see 140 points even getting close to that. I see it in like the 128 range max. Like, I really think I'm gonna go with the under on that game. But and it just switched to 140 right in front of my eyes, so I'm taking the under on 140.
Yeah. Well, now, Vince, I'm not sure if maybe the headphone jack might have come out or something like slightly, but you kind of sound like a weird outcast Darth Vader-y thing. I could hear what you're saying, but it was a very cool effect, is all I'm saying. I was digging it. I need to put some hip hop music to it because it was very outcasty.
How about now? Is it a little bit better now, or does it still sound like I'm in the dark?
Still sounds like you're on the dark side.
Oh my gosh, I am your father. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
I don't know my father. Anyway, so the very first show that you and I did together, I talked about this team, and it was a month before the college basketball season started. Give me UConn plus 1.5. It's now -1 for UConn. It crossed over the threshold of the 0. Give me UConn plus 1.5 tonight against the inconsistent Marquette. I went ahead and put 2.2 units on it to win 2. It's a wager pass play. Check it out. Watch this UConn team. They got that guard and boot night. They got Mr. Hurley coaching them up. They got some skilled forwards who play really well down in the low post. They play great defense on the wings. I love this UConn team. Dark horse to win their conference. And then also, I'm going to be looking for them in the March tournament. And remember, they made the jump back to the Big East. So they went back to their roots. So it's exciting. We're going to have UConn in the Big East tournament this year. I'm looking forward to that.
They're a gritty team, man. They are a gritty team.
Lots of experience. Hurley, he's got that recruiting class. And I say Hurley because I can never remember who is who. There's Danny Hurley and there's Bobby Hurley. And they're both brothers and they both coach. One's at Arizona State, one's at UConn. So I'm just saying Hurley. Moving on. Rutgers, Michigan State, Big Ten battle. Opened as a pick, and now it's at 3. -3 for the home Michigan State team in Lansing. Big Ten home teams, far more successful than Big Ten road teams. I took Michigan State -1.5, and look at where the steam has taken us. Really like this Michigan State game tonight. And that is a 9 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN2. And I believe that was the last of my college picks. There's a couple other games that I'm really looking forward to keeping up with tonight. There's some really good matchups, but as far as the betting standpoint, this obviously featured the most value for me. Just toss out some other games that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Davidson, Duquesne. I love those two schools. Atlantic 10, very fun schools to watch. NC State, Clemson, 6-1, 8-1. Clemson's ranked 19th. Clemson, man, they're balling this year. They are up there at the top of the ACC, and Duke's not playing hardly, and UNC's kind of faltering back and forth. NC State 6-1, Clemson 8-1. Some surprise teams in the ACC. speaking of UNC, they play Miami tonight. So Mizzou, Mississippi State, that'll be a good one. I really like this Mizzou team, but Mississippi State does play some good defense. And Mizzou coming off that huge win against 8-0 Arkansas, giving them their first loss last weekend. So those are some of the other games as far as a college basketball fan. And then my Hampton Pirates are kind of play again tonight. I like that team. I don't know why. I'm weird with my college teams.
Yeah, the only college play I have on the day that I've actually put money on is the under on the Florida Alabama game at 153.5. I can't see a game where they score up to that high. If I had to choose one or the other, to be honest, I think I'm taking the points and I'm rolling with Florida. I might even just throw like a little change at it and just take that money line because they can score. They just defensively they're not good. Like they're horrendous. They're terrible. But I just don't. 153.5 points is a lot. You're saying that these guys are damn near not going to miss, and I just can't see that happening either. So I'm going to take under 153.5 and tell you guys I'm rolling with that. That's just something I don't even put my college picks on the wager pass because I don't feel confident enough to tell you guys those picks until I'm on a roll. But just know that if you guys wanted a college pick from me, and the ones that I actually have $150 on is the under on 153.5.
Yeah, that's a great point there. Great value. And this was actually a game that stuck out to me. Being, Florida getting those points. I honestly thought the market was going to move the opposite way, but it opened at +2 for Florida. Now it's +3. I don't know why.
Down. It just switched back down while we're talking. It's now back down to +2. And again, the money line stayed the exact same. That's what I'm saying. If you're already thinking about taking those points, I'm throwing change at the money line at +125. I think that's good value there for a team that's a really good offensive team. Like they just find ways to put the ball in the hole. They're like Portland. They just give away a ton. They just give up a lot of points as well. I just don't see it being as high scoring of a game as that. If you know that both teams are going to be coming in there hot, trying to look to just score with no defense involved, at some point defense gets played. I just think 153.5 is a nice under. If I wanted to choose either or, I'm leaning. And look, the over under just went down as well to 152, so a full point down.
They're speaking it into existence.
That's what I'm saying. They just know it. They just hear me right now. 153.5, 152. I just don't think this game gets into the 150s at all. So I'm taking the unders all the way until it hits 150.
Yeah, the thing that stuck out to me was taking Florida on the money line just because I think they're the better team. Obviously, Alabama lost a lot of talent to the NBA with Kira Lewis and then another player I can't remember off the top of my head. And Florida, I think they're the better school or better team. I don't know anything about their educational institution or whatever. Yeah, I love it. I went ahead. So you've talked me into a couple bets here on the podcast while we did this. I went ahead and did a half unit sprinkle on +135 for Florida. I love it. Like I said, it stuck out to me. I just couldn't. There was other value spots that I had more conviction in on the college slate. So, but like you said, those are your picks for college basketball. I ran through mine. I added a couple picks to my card thanks to you and you giving us gifts on your birthday. I did stay away from the Robert Covington over, but I'm going to let you have that one. That's you.
Prop bet miracles are happening today. I feel like I'm at least going to go positive on these props. Prop bet number one is going to be Rocco over 9.5 points. The guy can score. He needs to get to double digits in points. Chicago gives up a ton of threes. Chicago also gives up a lot of offensive rebound putbacks. So I'm taking Robert Covington over 9.5 points. Last time, taking over 13.5 points for Yusuf Nurkic. Just as a reminder, guys, he's in a slump. Feed him the basketball. It comes down to Portland. If Portland doesn't win this game against Chicago as almost 10-point favorites, that team is going to have to go through a little reflection on themselves and figure out what they're doing wrong. And they're going to figure out it's them not passing the ball and not running the ball more through Yusuf Nurkic. He's a great passer for a big man. Give that man the ball. And then also over 20.5 points for D'Angelo Russell. I like that one. Those are my big three. The ones that I think is going to hit probably the most. That if you said, hey, if you had to pick one, choose that one. I'm going to go Lonnie Walker over 8 points. That's the one I like the most out of all of the prop bets that I gave you guys today.
Yeah, some great value within all of those. And just to kind of recap a little bit on my side, probably my favorite college plays for tonight is that UConn plus 1.5. Like I said, 2.2 units on it. I might bump my Michigan State play up from just a 1.1 unit to win one up to like a 2.5 to win whatever that would be. Love the Michigan State side tonight. No 3-unit plays for me tonight, but we don't need those all the time. And as far as the NBA, my favorite play is over 220 in the Spurs Clippers. Again, like I said, I don't know how I got that number. I'm happy I did. You can't get it now, so I'm sorry, y'all. But that's one that I really like. And then the Bulls. I love that plus 10 tonight, and so does the rest of the hoop ballers. So we are aligned.
That feels like the best one for me in terms of just spreads. I agree. I think Chicago plus 9.5, plus 10. That's really good. Anything lower than 9.5, 10, it makes me feel a little worried. But plus 9.5, 10 points, do that. Don't be afraid to throw a lotto ticket on that money line. I would not be surprised if Chicago got that one there. I also really love that 9.5 that the Spurs are getting against the Clippers. The Clippers have kind of not been the Clippers. Like, let's just be honest. Like, they've been good, but they haven't been the Clippers that everyone should be fearing. And if LaMarcus Aldridge is back, I mean, I can see him cooking Serge Ibaka with that infamous turnaround jumper. I like that one a lot. And then I like the under on 225 for that Brooklyn game, and I also like under 40.5 for that Kyrie Irving points, assists, and rebounds prop bet there.
You heard it, y'all. We got some plays that been loaded up. Probably gonna have a couple more loaded in. We've got some stuff to put out on Twitter. We've got this podcast to get out for y'all. We've already got some 6 o'clock college basketball games going. So I'm gonna work really hard on getting this out real quick, so that way y'all can listen in. Hopefully by halftime to maybe look and see where you're lying with some live bets. Hit us up on Twitter. Go ahead and DM whatever you want. We would prefer that you go over to hoop-ball.com, jump in on the wager pass, go ahead and join us on the Discord. Like I said, I'm obsessed with it. I'm always in there. And, it's going to be a great spot for you to go ahead and just ask whatever questions you want, and just in discussion over argumentation. And it's a great community, lots of respect. You're going to learn some stuff. I learn something every day. Like I said, I gave a shout out to a listener and a Discord user for us yesterday. He threw it out there in the Discord. He said, y'all need to take this plus 200 Taysom Hill touchdown prop. And look what happened. So it's a great community, like I already said. Once again, I am Devin Ellington at DALE007 on Twitter. We're at Hoopball Gaming. We're at Hoopball Tweets. We're at Hoopball Fantasy. All of them. Whatever you're needing some information on, we got you covered. Make sure to wish Vince a happy birthday at BM Center on Twitter. He is not 35. He is under that age. And man, we got some really exciting stuff tonight. So again, use those promo codes over at mybookie.ag. Manscaped, get your weed whacker, whack your weeds, take care of that lawn. Vince, you got any, Mr. Vader, you got any last parting words there, Dad?
Do I still sound like that right now?
No, it's fixed at the end. It's fixed.
Finally, at the very end. You guys can follow me, like you said, on all social media platforms of at VM Center. I'll be guest hosting on a lot of these other shows here for hoop-ball.com. So be sure to subscribe to our podcasting network on wherever you guys listen to your guys' podcasts there. Subscribe to me at the King's Court Podcast on all social media platforms as well. You can follow us on @SKN Articles. I'm going to be starting to cover the Kings a lot. Going to have a lot of guests coming through at the end of this month. We had to revamp everything. The site is officially gone, so there's no more Sack Kings Nation for me. For those wondering what happened to my articles there, not covering the Kings in terms of writing anymore. However, I am still doing my podcast, The Kings Court. You guys can go check it out over there. We got merch for sale that will be coming on there for sure. So you guys definitely do that. And thank you all for the birthday wishes, and looking forward to us making this money in 2021, guys. Happy New Year. Happy holidays to everybody. And Devin, take us out of here, bro.
I will. You know how I do it, guys. I always send you my good vibes and all of my good energies. I hope everyone puts some change in their pocket, cashes in their DFS lineups, has some success in their fantasy weeks. We'll see you on the next one. Tomorrow we're going to have a really awesome special guest, a familiar voice, someone who's graced his presence on the show before, and I'm excited to go ahead and talk with him as well. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the week. We got some really fun stuff planned. We got some great cards coming up, some NFL playoff spots, but not to get ahead of my marbles here. Again, I'm Devin Ellington at DALE007. Please go leave some of those 5-star reviews for us, or 1-star. Just tell us how you truly feel. We can respect that, and we want to get better in whichever ways we need to. So you do what you need to do as far as our review process, and we're going to improve no matter what. So Vince, thanks.
If they leave us a 1-star, Devin, I'm telling you, if they leave us a 1-star, you better have some constructive criticism.
Yeah. Don't just be like, you guys suck.
We're 2.5. At the bare minimum, we are 2.5 stars.
Bare minimum.
I don't want to see no 1 unless there's constructive criticism or you want a certain voice off the air. Even if the voice is me, I'm not going to listen to it. But guess what? If it's me and you say, get me off the air, I'll think about it. Tell me what you want me to do.
Hey, okay? If you leave a 1-star review and you don't offer constructive criticism, I'm going to invite you on the show, and then you're going to be my next guest. So think about that.
Don't tell them that. They don't deserve that with that 1-star review. If it's 1 star, I'm just going to say thank you for taking the time to leave that review, but please leave constructive criticism. And please, if it's to get me off the show, just at me. Okay? I'm not even going to say it again. I'm not going to tell you the Twitter handle. I'm not going to tell you where you can find me on all social media platforms. I'm just saying, leave the constructive criticism.
Yeah. Most people say don't at me, but Vince is saying at him. And, honestly, at me, all of us, all of it. So, all right. I think that does it. Let's roll this one out of here, Vince, so we can get it up for the listeners. Thanks again, bud. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. You're about 3 hours behind me, so you got lots more partying to do. Have a great evening, bud, and I'll see you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday, bro. Shots for everybody. Let's go.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Professional painters know waiting between coats for trim, doors, and cabinets to dry is time out of your day and money out of your pocket. Bare Premium Cabinet and Trim Enamel from the Home Depot lets you finish faster. With excellent flow and leveling, it dries to the touch in 1 hour, and less dry time means less downtime. Bare Premium Cabinet and Trim Enamel, just $39.98 a gallon, and that's before the Pro Extra discount, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in-store and online.